Admiral sat alone in his command chamber. The lights were dim. He preferred it this way when he needed to think. The war against Earth had lasted 3 cycles now, and the reports on his desk made no sense. He was old for a. His scales had turned from bright blue to dull gray many years ago. He had fought in 7 wars. He had seen death in numbers that would break most minds. But the report in front of him made his 4 hearts beat faster with something he had not felt in decades. Fear. The Coalition controlled 47 star systems. They had conquered 12 species, their military numbered in the billions. When they first encountered the humans of Earth, they expected another easy victory. The humans were soft creatures. They had no claws, no scales, no natural weapons at all. Their bodies were weak. They needed machines to survive in space. The war should have ended in days. It did not. Picked up the data tablet and read the numbers again. Outpost Gamma 7, a mining colony on a dead moon, strategic value, moderate. The Coalition had sent 3 battalions to take it, 9,000 soldiers, the best they had. The humans had sent 1 unit. 1 unit. Pressed a button on his desk. The door opened and his aide walked in. Lieutenant was young. His scales still held their color. He moved with the confidence of someone who had never truly known defeat. "You called for me, Admiral." "Sit down, Lieutenant." Sat, he looked at the tablet in his hands. "Is this about Gamma 7? "Yes." Set the tablet on the desk between them. "I need you to verify these numbers." Picked up the tablet. His eyes moved across the screen, watched as the young officer's face changed. The confidence drained away. His scales seemed to lose some of their color. "This cannot be correct," said. "That is what I thought." 3 battalions, 9,000 soldiers. Looked up. "We lost 8,700 of them." "Yes." "To 1 human unit." "Yes." Set the tablet down. His hands were shaking. How many humans were in the unit? Leaned back in his chair. "That is the question I need answered." The surviving soldiers gave different reports. Some said 100, some said 50, some said 10. He paused. One soldier, before he died from his wounds, said there was only 1. 1 human. 1. Laughed. It was not a happy sound. "That is impossible, Admiral. 1 creature cannot kill 8,000 soldiers. It is not physically possible." "I agree. That is why I need you to access the combat recordings. Every soldier's helmet has a camera. I want to see what happened on that moon." Nodded. He stood up and walked to the main console. His fingers moved across the controls. The large screen on the wall flickered to life. "Accessing Gamma 7 combat data," said, "starting from first contact with enemy forces." The screen showed the moon's surface, gray rock, no air. The soldiers moved in formation across the landscape. Their armor was heavy and strong. Their weapons were the best in the galaxy. "Contact," someone shouted in the recording. Weapons fire lit up the screen. Leaned forward. He saw flashes of movement, something fast, something that should not have been possible. And then the screaming started. The recording jumped between different soldiers' cameras. Each one showed the same thing: chaos, death, soldiers falling one after another, and always in the corner of the frame a shadow, a shape, something moving faster than the eye could follow. "Pause it," said. Stop the recording. The image on screen was blurry but could make out a figure. It was human. He could tell by the shape: 2 arms, 2 legs, a helmet covering the face. The human was carrying a weapon in each hand. The armor was black. There were marks on it, counted them. 10, 20, 50, more than he could see clearly. "Each mark is a kill," said quietly. "I have read about this human tradition." Stared at the image. "How many marks can you count?" Worked at the console. The image became clearer. He began counting. The room was silent for a long time. 847, finally said. His voice was barely a whisper. closed his eyes. 847 kills, 1 human, 1 battle. The numbers were impossible, and yet the evidence was right in front of him. "Continue the recording," he said. The battle played out on the screen. Watched it all, every death, every moment of terror. The soldiers were not cowards, they were trained warriors. They fought back with everything they had. It made no difference. The human moved through them like wind through grass. Every shot found its target. Every movement was perfect. When the weapons ran out of ammunition, the human used blades. When the blades broke, the human used hands. 8,700 soldiers died in 6 hours. When it was over, the recording showed the human standing alone on the moon's surface. Bodies lay everywhere. The human looked up at the sky, at the ships in orbit. And then the human waved. "End recording," said. The screen went dark. The command chamber was silent, could hear his own heart's beating. 4 chambers, 4 rhythms, all of them too fast. Admiral said, "What do we do?" Did not answer immediately. He was thinking about the wave, that simple gesture. The human had just killed nearly 9,000 soldiers, and at the end the human had waved, like it was a game, like it was nothing. "I need more information," said finally. "I need to know who this human is. I need their service record, their history, everything. I will contact our intelligence division." "Do it now." Hurried out of the room, remained at his desk. He picked up the tablet again and looked at the numbers. 847 kills, 1 human, 1 battle. He thought about the military, billions of soldiers, thousands of ships, weapons that could destroy planets. For 7 wars, no enemy had been able to stand against them. And now 1 human had killed nearly 9,000 of his best soldiers, in 6 hours, on a moon that did not matter. Was old. He had seen many terrible things, but he had never felt fear like this, because he knew something that made the numbers even worse. The human had not died. The recording showed the human walking away when it was over. Walking, not limping, not crawling, walking. The human had fought for 6 hours and killed nearly 9,000 soldiers and walked away like it was a normal day. And somewhere out there, on a planet called Earth, there were more of them. Set down the tablet. He looked at the dark screen where the recording had played. He could still see the human in his mind. That shadow, that shape, that wave. What were these creatures? The door opened, returned. His face was pale. "Admiral," he said, "I have the information you requested." "Tell me." The human's name is female, age 32 by their counting. She holds the rank of sergeant in something called the Earth Marines. Is she special, a champion of some kind, their greatest warrior? Swallowed, "No, Admiral." "What do you mean?" "According to our intelligence reports, sergeant is considered average." Felt his heart stop for just a moment. Average. "Yes, Admiral. By human military standards, she is completely average." The room was very quiet. Thought about the number again. 847 kills, 1 human, 1 battle. And she was average. "How many of these Marines does Earth have?" he asked. Looked at his tablet. When he looked up, his eyes were empty, the look of someone who had just seen the end of everything. 12 million, Admiral. Earth has 12 million active Marines. Said nothing. There was nothing to say. He just sat in his chair and thought about the mathematics of extinction. Outside his window, the stars burned cold and bright, and somewhere among them, 12 million humans waited. The transport ship was small and cramped. Sergeant sat in the back with her eyes closed. The other Marines talked and laughed around her. She did not join them. She was thinking about the mission. Outpost Gamma 7, a mining colony on a dead moon, the wanted it. Command wanted to keep it. Simple math, simple mission. Kill everything that was not human. Opened her eyes and looked at her squad. There were 11 of them in total, 12 Marines against whatever the scent. The odds were probably bad. They usually were. Corporal Park sat across from her. He was young, 24 years old. This was his 5th combat mission. He was cleaning his rifle for the 3rd time since they left Earth. Nervous? Asked. Looked up. No, Sergeant. You are lying. He smiled a little, maybe a little nervous. Good, nervous keeps you alive. Confident gets you killed. Private First Class sat next to. She was the youngest in the squad, 21 years old. Her first real combat mission. She had not spoken since they boarded the transport. Said, "How are you feeling?" The young woman looked up. Her face was pale. "I am fine, Sergeant." "You look like you are going to be sick." "I might be." Some of the other Marines laughed, not in a mean way. They all remembered their first mission. The fear, the doubt, the certainty that they were going to die. Stood up and walked over to. She sat down next to her. The transport shook as it entered the moon's thin atmosphere. "Listen to me," said quietly. "When we land, you stay behind me. You do exactly what I tell you. You do not think. You do not hesitate. You just follow orders. Can you do that?" Nodded. "Yes, Sergeant." "Good." Put a hand on her shoulder. "You are going to be scared. That is normal, but fear is just a feeling. It cannot hurt you. That can hurt you. Focus on them. Focus on killing them before they kill you. Everything else is just noise." The transport shook again. The pilot's voice came over the speaker. "Landing in 5 minutes. Enemy presence confirmed. Looks like a lot of them." Stood up and walked to the front of the transport. She pressed the button for the cockpit door. It opened and she stepped inside. The pilot was a man named Lieutenant. He was older than most pilots, gray hair, calm eyes. He had been flying combat missions for 15 years. "How many?" asked. Pointed at his screen. It showed the moon's surface. Red dots covered it like a disease. "At least 3 battalions," he said. "Maybe 9,000 soldiers." 9,000. Maybe more, hard to tell. They are spread out across the whole colony. Looked at the screen. 9,000 soldiers, 12 Marines. The math was very bad. "Can you get us close to the main facility?" she asked. "I can try, but they have anti-aircraft weapons. We might get shot down." "Then do not get shot down." Laughed. "I will do my best, Sergeant." Returned to the main cabin. The other Marines were putting on their helmets and checking their weapons. They had heard the numbers. 9,000 enemies. None of them seemed surprised. None of them seemed scared. This was what they trained for. Private was the biggest Marine in the squad, 2 meters tall, arms like tree trunks. He carried the heavy weapons, 2 large guns that could tear through armor like paper. 9,000, he said. "That is a lot of kills to share between 12 people." "Try not to take them all yourself," said Private Lee. He was the squad's sniper, small and quiet, he never missed. "I make no promises," replied. The transport shook hard, warning lights flashed. His voice came over the speaker. "Anti-aircraft fire, hang on." The Marines grabbed whatever they could. The transport spun and dove. Through the small windows could see explosions in the dark sky, green light from weapons, orange light from the transport's engines. Something hit them. The whole ship screamed with the sound of tearing metal. Smoke filled the cabin. "We are going down," shouted. "Brace for impact." The crash was violent, felt herself thrown against the wall. Her armor protected her, but the impact still hurt. The world spun, then stopped. Silence. Stood up slowly. Her body ached, but nothing was broken. Around her, the other Marines were getting up, checking themselves, checking each other. "Anyone dead?" asked. "No, Sergeant," reported. "Some injuries, nothing serious." The cockpit door opened. The pilot stumbled out. Blood ran down his face from a cut on his forehead. "I am fine, the ship is not. We are not flying out of here." Nodded. She had expected this. "Then we walk out, after we complete the mission." She moved to the exit door. It was damaged but still worked. She kicked it open and stepped out onto the moon's surface. The colony spread out before her. Gray buildings, gray ground, gray sky, everything dead and cold and empty, except it was not empty. They were coming. She could see them in the distance, hundreds of them, moving toward the crashed transport. They knew the humans were here. They were coming to kill them. Raised her rifle. Through the scope she could see the first soldier clearly. Blue scales, heavy armor, 4 arms holding weapons. She pulled the trigger. The soldier fell. Behind her, the other Marines spread out into combat positions, found high ground and started picking off targets, set up his heavy guns and opened fire. The others moved forward in pairs, covering each other. Walked into the battle. She had been a Marine for 10 years. Her first mission was on a planet called New Hope. She was 18 years old, scared, uncertain. She killed her first enemy that day, a soldier who came at her with a blade. She remembered the moment clearly, the fear, the way her hands shook, the sound the body made when it hit the ground. That was 3,000 kills ago. Now she did not shake, she did not fear, she just moved and killed and kept moving. Her rifle fired, enemies fell. When they got too close, she used her knife. When her knife broke, she used her hands. They were strong, but had learned something in 10 years of war. Strength did not matter as much as people thought. Speed mattered, precision mattered, the will to keep fighting when your body screamed at you to stop. That was what made humans dangerous. A soldier came at her from the left. 4 arms, 4 weapons, it should have been an advantage, but 4 arms meant 4 targets, 4 joints, 4 places to strike. Shot 2 of the arms before the soldier could react. The weapons fell. The soldier screamed. She shot it in the head before the scream ended. Another 1 came from the right, then 2 more from the front, then 10 more behind them. Good, more targets. The battle lasted for hours. The sun never rose on this moon. There was no day, just endless darkness lit by weapons fire. Lost track of time. She lost track of how many she killed. She just kept fighting. At some point appeared beside her. He was bleeding from a wound in his shoulder. His face was covered in dust and blood, but he was still fighting. "Sergeant," he said between shots, "we have cleared the western sector. Enemy forces are falling back to the main facility." "Casualties?" "None dead, took a hit, is carrying her, she will survive." Nodded, "No Marines dead, good, she wanted to keep it that way." "Rally at the main facility," she ordered. "We end this now." They moved through the colony like shadows, building to building, room to room. Every corner could hide an enemy, every doorway could be a trap. They had stopped running. They were making a stand at the main facility, all their remaining forces gathered in one place. Thousands of soldiers, heavy weapons, strong positions. Looked at her squad, 11 Marines, tired, bleeding, running low on ammunition. "Suggestions?" she asked. Grinned, his teeth were red with blood. "Kill them all." "I was hopping for something more specific." Spoke up, he rarely did. "There is a ventilation system. Main access is on the north side. I can get inside, create a distraction." "What kind of distraction?" "The explosive kind." Thought about it for exactly 2 seconds. "Do it. Everyone else wait for the explosion. Then we go in through the front, fast and hard. No stopping until they are all dead." The squad nodded. No questions, no complaints. This was what they did. They waited in the darkness. Minutes passed. An hour. Then the north side of the facility erupted in fire and smoke. Raised her rifle. "Go," she said. They went. Commander had served the coalition for 30 years. He had fought in 4 wars. He had killed more enemies than he could count. He thought he understood battle. He was wrong. The humans came through the front entrance like a wave of death. There were only a handful of them, maybe 10 or 12. against thousands of soldiers with heavy weapons and fortified positions. It should have been over in seconds. Instead, watched his soldiers die. The first human through the door was a female, small, fast. Her weapon fired so quickly that the shots blended into one continuous sound. Every shot killed a soldier. No misses, no wasted ammunition. Had never seen anything like it. "Concentrate fire on the lead human," he screamed into his communicator. "Kill her now." Hundreds of weapons turned toward the female. Green energy bolts filled the air. Any creature in the galaxy would have been torn apart by that much firepower. The female did not stop. She moved through the gunfire like it was rain, ducking, rolling, sliding, never standing still, never giving them a clean target, and all the time she kept shooting, kept killing. Behind her, the other humans spread out. Each one was different. Some were large and carried heavy weapons. Some were small and moved like shadows, but they all had the same look in their eyes. Cold, focused, hungry. Had seen predators before. The galaxy was full of dangerous creatures, but he had never seen anything hunt like these humans. They worked together perfectly, covering each other, supporting each other, moving as one unit even though they were spread across the whole facility. A large human with 2 heavy guns appeared on the left side. He opened fire into a group of soldiers. The guns roared. Bodies flew apart. In 10 seconds, 50 soldiers were dead. On the right side, something exploded. Then again. Then again. A small human was throwing grenades with perfect accuracy. Each explosion killed a dozen soldiers. Each throw was followed immediately by another. And in the center, the female kept advancing. Pulled back to a secondary position. His personal guard surrounded him, 20 of his best soldiers, each one chosen for their skill and loyalty. "Hold this position," he ordered. "We just need to kill that one female. The others will fall without their leader." His soldiers formed a defensive line, weapons ready, eyes forward. They were the best the coalition had. The female came through the door alone. Saw her clearly for the first time. She was smaller than he expected. Her armor was black and covered with marks, hundreds of marks, kill marks. He realized with horror that each one represented a dead soldier. "Fire!" he screamed. 20 weapons fired at once. The female was already moving. She rolled to the left, came up shooting, and killed 3 soldiers before they could adjust their aim. Then she was moving again, too fast to track. Fired his own weapon. The shot went wide. The female was not where she had been a moment before. She was behind 2 of his soldiers now, using them as shields while she killed 3 more. Then she was gone again. He spun around trying to find her. His soldiers were falling one by one. Each death was quick and clean, a shot to the head, a blade to the throat, no suffering, no struggling, just death. In less than 30 seconds, all 20 of his guards were dead. Stood alone. His weapon was empty. He had no more ammunition. He looked at the female human standing in front of him. She was not even breathing hard. "What are you?" he asked. The female tilted her head slightly. "I am a Marine." "What is a Marine?" "We are the ones humanity sends when they want something dead." Looked around at the bodies of his soldiers, 20 of his best, dead in half a minute. He had served for 30 years. He had never known defeat like this. "How is this possible?" he asked. "You are one creature, small, weak, no claws, no scales. How can you do this?" The female walked closer. Her weapon was at her side now. She did not need it, was no threat to her. He never had been. "You think we are weak because we have soft skin," she said. "You think we are slow because we only have 2 arms. You look at us and see prey." She stopped right in front of him. Her eyes were dark and calm, like deep water. "That is your mistake. We evolved on a death world. Everything on our planet tried to kill us. The animals, the plants, the weather, the planet itself. We survived because we learned to be the most dangerous thing in any room. Wanted to run, but his legs would not move. The fear had paralyzed him. How many of you are there? He whispered. Marines, about 12 million, humans in total, 8 billion. The numbers meant nothing too. He could not even imagine such quantities. His mind simply could not process them. We cannot win this war, he said. It was not a question. No, you cannot. The female raised her weapon, closed his eyes. He waited for death. It did not come. He opened his eyes. The female had lowered her weapon. She was looking at him with something that might have been pity. Go back to your leaders, she said. Tell them what you saw here. Tell them about the 12 million Marines. Tell them about the 8 billion humans. And tell them that this ends one of two ways, surrender or extinction. Stared at her. You are letting me live. Someone needs to deliver the message. She turned and walked away, watched her go. She moved through the facility like she owned it, because she did now, all of it. Outside, the sounds of battle were fading. The shooting was stopping. Knew what that meant. His army was dead. All 9,000 soldiers dead. He found a communication device on one of the bodies. His hands were shaking so badly that he could barely press the buttons, but he managed to send a signal to the coalition fleet in orbit. This is Commander, requesting immediate evacuation. Outpost Gamma 7 has fallen. The response came quickly. Commander, we are reading no life signs at the outpost. Where are our soldiers? Looked around at the bodies. Thousands of them. Soldiers who had been alive just hours ago. Dead, he said. They are all dead. All of them? That is impossible. There were 9,000 soldiers at that outpost. I know they are all dead. The communicator was silent for a long moment. Then a new voice came on, older, more authoritative. Commander, this is Admiral. How many humans attacked the outpost? Thought about the question. He had seen maybe a dozen humans, but they had killed 9,000 soldiers. The math did not make sense. None of it made sense. 12, Admiral, maybe fewer. The silence that followed was the longest of his life. 12 humans killed 9,000 soldiers. Yes, Admiral. And you survived. Thought about the female, her dark eyes, her calm voice, the way she had let him live to deliver a message. One of them let me live. She wanted me to tell you something. Tell me what? Repeated the words exactly as the female had said them. Surrender or extinction. When he finished, the communicator was silent again. Then Admiral said something that had never heard any leader say before. May the stars protect us. The evacuation ship arrived an hour later, was the only one who boarded it, the only survivor of 9,000 soldiers. As the ship lifted off, he looked down at the colony. The 12 humans were standing together near the crashed transport ship. They were talking and laughing, like what they had just done was normal, like killing thousands of soldiers was just another day. One of them looked up at the evacuation ship. The female, even from this distance, could feel her eyes on him. She waved, turned away and closed his eyes. He knew he would see that wave in his nightmares for the rest of his life, a casual gesture from a creature who had just killed his entire army. He also knew that the war was over. The coalition just did not realize it yet. But they would, when they saw the numbers, when they did the math, when they understood what 12 million Marines could do. Surrender or extinction. There was no third option. Admiral had not slept in 3 days. The data was spread across his desk in a mess of tablets and papers. Every number told the same story. Every calculation led to the same conclusion. The war was already lost. Commander sat across from him. The survivor of Gamma 7 had not spoken in an hour. He just stared at the wall with empty eyes. Whatever he had seen on that moon had broken something inside him. Understood, he felt broken too. 847, he said quietly. Blink to what? The kill count for the lead human, the female named. She personally killed 847 of our soldiers in 6 hours. Nodded slowly. I watched her kill my personal guard, 20 soldiers, our best fighters. She killed them in 30 seconds. She was not even trying hard. Looked at the data tablet in his hand. It contained everything the coalition knew about Sergeant, her service record, her training history, her performance reviews. She is 32 years old by human counting, said. She has been a Marine for 10 years. She has participated in 47 combat missions. Her total confirmed kills before Gamma 7 were 2,312. 2,000, shook his head. One human has killed over 3,000 of our soldiers. Yes, and that is not the worst part. Looked up, what could be worse than that? Set down the tablet. He walked to the window and looked out at the stars. His home world was out there somewhere. His family, his children, everything he had ever loved. I asked our intelligence division to compare her numbers to other human Marines. I wanted to know if she was special, a champion, perhaps the greatest warrior their species has ever produced. And turned around. She is ranked in the middle, not the best, not the worst, completely average by their standards. Did not respond. He seemed to be having trouble processing the words. Do you understand what I am saying? Asked. A human who has killed over 3,000 of our soldiers is considered average. She is not their best fighter. She is not even close to their best fighter. Who is their best fighter? Picked up another tablet. A human named Master Sergeant, 20 years of service. Confirmed kills, 11,462. The room was very quiet. Stood up suddenly. He walked to the window and pressed his face against the glass. His body was shaking. 11,000, he whispered. One human has killed 11,000 of us. One human, yes, and she is still serving, still fighting, still adding to that number every day. Joined him at the window. They stood together in silence, looking at the stars. Each one might have a planet. Each planet might have life. And none of it would matter if the humans decided to take it. I have done the mathematics, said. Earth has 12 million active Marines. If each Marine kills at the same rate as Sergeant, they could eliminate our entire military in less than a year. Then we must make peace. It is not that simple. Our government does not believe the reports. They think the numbers are errors, propaganda. They refuse to accept that any species could be this dangerous. Turn to face him, then they are fools. Yes, but they are fools with power, and they will not listen to me. The door to the command chamber opened. Lieutenant entered. His face was pale. Admiral, we have received a response from Earth. Felt his heart speed up. What does it say? They have agreed to peace negotiations. A human delegation will arrive at station in 3 days. It was good news, but did not look happy. He looked terrified. What else? Asked. They are sending one representative to negotiate for the entire human species. One representative. Yes, Admiral, swallowed. Sergeant. Closed his eyes. Of course. The humans were sending a message. They were sending the woman who had just killed nearly 9,000 soldiers, the woman who had let live to deliver a warning. Surrender or extinction. Prepare my ship, said. I will meet her personally. Admiral is that wise. She has killed more of our people than any single enemy in our history. That is exactly why I must meet her. I need to understand these creatures. I need to know if peace is truly possible. 3 days later, arrived at station. It was a neutral location, a trading post on the edge of coalition space. Thousands of species pass through it every day. Today, only 2 species mattered. The human ship was small and simple, no weapons visible, no escort, just one transport that landed in the main dock like it belonged there. Waited in the negotiation chamber. His guards stood behind him, 20 soldiers, not because he thought they could protect him. He had seen the recordings from Gamma 7. 20 soldiers meant nothing to Sergeant. He brought them because tradition demanded it. The door opened. She was smaller than he expected, shorter than the average. Her hair was black and pulled back from her face. Her eyes were dark and calm. She wore no armor, no weapons that he could see. She walked into the room alone. "Admiral," she said, "thank you for meeting with me." Her voice was soft, almost gentle, nothing like the voice of a creature who had killed 3,000 soldiers. "Sergeant," he replied, "please sit." She sat across from him. The table between them was wide and empty, just the two of them and a lot of history. "I have questions," said. "I expected you would. How are humans capable of what you do? You are small, you are soft, you have no natural weapons. By every measure you should be easy prey." Smiled slightly. "Do you know what endurance hunting is?" "No." On Earth long ago, before we had weapons, our ancestors hunted by running. We would chase an animal for hours, days sometimes. We could not catch them in short bursts. We were too slow, but we did not need to be fast. We just needed to be tireless. She leaned forward slightly. The animals would run from us, they would escape, but we would keep following, hour after hour, day after day. Eventually, the animal would collapse from exhaustion, and then we would walk up to it and kill it with our bare hands. Felt a chill run through his scales. "You are saying that humans can simply keep going." "Yes, it is our greatest advantage. We do not stop. We do not give up. We will chase you across the galaxy if we have to. We will follow you for generations. We will never ever stop until one side is destroyed." "That is horrifying." "Yes, it is." She leaned back. "That is why I am offering you peace. Not because we fear you, but because we do not want to destroy you. We have done enough destroying." Considered her words. She was offering mercy, real mercy, from a species that could easily exterminate his entire people. "What are your terms?" he asked. "Simple: end the war, return to your space. Leave humanity alone. In exchange, we will leave you alone." "That is all." "That is all. We have no interest in conquest, no desire for your worlds or your resources. We just want to be left in peace." Thought about it. The Coalition had started this war. They had attacked Earth first. They had expected an easy victory over a soft species with no claws or scales. They had been wrong. "Our government will not accept these terms," he said finally. "They still believe we can win." Nodded. "I expected that, so I brought something to help change their minds." She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small data chip. She placed it on the table between them. "What is this?" asked. "A gift, the complete service records of every Marine in the Earth military. Names, ranks, kill counts, everything." Picked up the chip. It felt heavy in his hand, heavy with the weight of 12 million soldiers. "Why would you give us this information?" Stood up, she walked to the window and looked out at the stars. The same stars had looked at for days. "Because I want you to do the math," she said. "I want you to add up all those numbers. I want you to see exactly what you are facing. And then I want you to ask yourself one question." "What question?" She turned to face him. Her eyes were not cold anymore. They were sad, tired, the eyes of someone who had seen too much death. "Is winning this war worth the extinction of your species?" Looked at the data chip. He already knew what the numbers would show. He already knew the answer. "No," he said quietly, "it is not." Nodded. "Then we have an agreement. Convince your government, show them the numbers, and end this war before it ends you." She walked toward the door, then stopped and looked back at him. "Admiral, I have killed many soldiers. I will not pretend otherwise, but I did not enjoy it. I do not enjoy killing. I do it because it is my job, because someone has to protect my people." She paused. but I would rather protect them through peace than war. I hope you feel the same about your people." Then she was gone. Sat alone in the negotiation chamber. The data chip sat on the table in front of him. 12 million names, 12 million soldiers. He picked it up and started reading. The High Council of the Coalition met in the Great Chamber, 12 leaders, the most powerful beings in 47 star systems. They had conquered species, destroyed civilizations, ruled the stars for 1,000 years. Now they were afraid. Admiral stood before them with the data chip in his hand. He had spent 2 days reviewing the information, 2 days of reading names and numbers, 2 days of understanding exactly how doomed his people were. "This is foolishness," said Counselor. He was the oldest on the council, the most powerful, the most stubborn. "You expect us to surrender because of one battle." "Not one battle," replied. "Hundreds of battles, thousands of engagements. The humans have been keeping records of every fight since the war began." He inserted the data chip into the main display. The screen lit up with numbers. Total casualties since the war started, 4 million soldiers. Total human casualties, 8,000. The chamber went silent. "That is a lie," said. "It must be propaganda." "I have it with our own records. The numbers match." Move to the next display. Here is the breakdown by engagement. Every battle where we encountered human forces, every death on both sides. The numbers scrolled across the screen. Battle after battle, casualties in the thousands, human casualties in the dozens, sometimes in single digits, sometimes 0. "This is impossible," said Counselor. She was younger than more willing to see the truth. "No species can fight like this." "Humans can," brought up a new image, a picture of Sergeant. "This is the human I met at station. She is a Marine, a soldier. Her personal kill count is over 3,000. One soldier killed 3,000 of our people." "Yes, and she is considered average. There are Marines with kill counts over 10,000, some approaching 20,000. Stood up, his scales were red with anger. "We are the Coalition. We have conquered 12 species. We will not surrender to these soft creatures." "Then we will die," said simply. "You are a coward." "I am a realist," turned off the display and faced the council directly. "I have fought in 7 wars. I have killed more enemies than most soldiers will ever see. I know what victory looks like, and I know what defeat looks like." He walked to the center of the chamber. 12 pairs of eyes watched him. "The humans did not start this war. We did. We attacked them because we thought they were weak. We thought their soft skin and small bodies made them prey. We were wrong." "They can still be defeated," insisted. "We simply need to send more soldiers, more ships, more weapons." "How many more?" asked. "We have already lost 4 million soldiers. How many more are you willing to sacrifice? 8 million, 12 million, our entire military." Did not answer. "Even if we could match their kill rate," continued, "we would still lose. There are 12 million human Marines, just Marines. Their total military is over 50 million, and their civilian population is 8 billion. 8 billion, Counselor looked sick. That is more than our entire species." "Yes, and they are all potential soldiers. Every human on their planet knows how to fight. It is part of their culture, part of their identity. They have been fighting since before they discovered fire, fighting each other, fighting their environment, fighting to survive." Return to the main display. He brought up a new image, a planet, blue and green and white. "This is Earth, their home world. We thought it was a garden, a paradise. We were wrong about that too." He showed them images of the planet. Deserts that killed anything that entered them. Oceans filled with predators. Mountains that froze creatures solid. Jungles where everything was poisonous. 70% of their planet is covered in water they cannot drink. Their weather can destroy cities in hours. Half of their animals are predators. The other half evolved to kill predators. Everything on that planet has been trying to kill humans for their entire existence. And yet they survived, said quietly. More than survived, they thrived. They became the dominant species on a death world. They did not evolve to be prey. They evolved to be the ultimate predators, and now we have made them angry. The chamber was silent, could see the fear on their faces, even had stopped arguing. The truth was too big to deny. The human sergeant gave me a message, said. She said we have two choices, surrender or extinction. I believe her. And if we surrender, asked, what do they want from us? Nothing. They want us to leave them alone. They want peace. They do not want our worlds or our resources. They simply want the war to end. Laughed bitterly. A species that could destroy us completely, and they ask for nothing. They are not like us, replied. They do not fight for conquest. They fight to protect what they love. We threaten their home, their families, their children. That is why they fight with such ferocity. They are not trying to conquer us. They are trying to make sure we never threaten them again. The council members looked at each other. Decades of pride, centuries of conquest, 1,000 years of believing they were the greatest power in the galaxy. All of it meaningless. I call for a vote, said Counselor. Surrender or continue the war. We cannot vote on this, protested. The people will never accept surrender. The people will accept living, said. Show them the numbers, let them see the truth. They will understand. The vote was quick. 11 voices for surrender, 1 against. Remained seated, his scales dark with shame. Send the message, said. Tell the humans we accept their terms. Nodded. He had already prepared the communication. He sent it immediately, before anyone could change their mind. The response came in less than an hour. A simple message from Earth. Peace accepted. War ended. May we never meet as enemies again. Read the message to the council. There were no cheers, no celebration, just relief. The relief of creatures who had just escaped extinction. Later that night stood in his command chamber. The war was over, his people would survive, but he felt no joy, only exhaustion. The door opened, Lieutenant entered. Admiral, we have received another message, personal communication from Sergeant. Was surprised, what does it say? Handed him the tablet, read the message. Admiral Torek, thank you for your wisdom. I hope the peace lasts. I hope our species can learn to understand each other someday. But if your people ever threaten Earth again, know this, I will come for you, not out of anger, not out of hatred, but because protecting my home is what I was born to do. I hope I never see you again. Yuna. Set down the tablet. He walked to the window and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, 12 million Marines were standing down, putting away their weapons, returning to their lives. The war was over for them too. But they would always be ready, always waiting. If any threat emerged, they would rise again. They would hunt their enemies across the galaxy. They would never stop, never give up, never surrender. That was the horror the Council had finally understood. Humans were not dangerous because of their weapons or their ships or their technology. They were dangerous because of what they were. Survivors, fighters, predators. The most terrifying species in the galaxy. And they just wanted to be left alone. Thought about Sergeant, her calm eyes, her soft voice, the way she had killed 3,000 soldiers and then offered peace. She was not a monster, she was just a human doing her job. That made it worse somehow. Monsters could be understood. Monsters killed because they were evil or hungry or insane. Humans killed because they had to, because someone threatened their home, and they would keep killing until the threat was gone or they were dead. Surrender or extinction. Was glad his people had chosen surrender. He was glad the war was over. But he would never forget the lesson he had learned, the lesson written in the blood of 4 million soldiers. Never threaten Earth. Never make an enemy of humanity. And never, ever ask about the kill ratio for one Earth Marine? Because the answer would only bring horror. The stars burned cold and bright outside his window, and somewhere among them, 8 billion humans slept peacefully. For now,